Good morning. It's about 7 a.m. and I'm making a video. Why am I making this video? Well, this is the first of many videos that I'll be making. And for today, the topic of conversation is why artists will heal the world. And when I make these videos, it's not like I'm some sort of expert, or this is just word vomit. And I'm here doing this thinking alongside you and seeing if it leads anywhere, if it has any sort of real depth and anything that has any value, let's say. So I've thought about this and why artists will heal the world. Well, then we must first ask, well, what are we healing? What is it that needs to be healed? And the thing that I say, well, there's a lot of issues and a lot of concerns about the world that are, kind of ushered into the rug and swept under the rug, right? That you can't talk about, or that talking about it is taboo, or it's too harsh and intense of a subject to dive into it directly. So I believe that the form of indirect communication is one of the strongest forms of really tapping into that depth of knowledge and giving people permission to seek and understand the depth of knowledge. And that's what art does. It delivers ideas in problematic world issues and packages it up for consumption in a way that is it bypasses the sort of awkwardness of conversation, and now you can actually talk about these sorts of things and actually think about them, right? So things like oppression, right? You can talk about oppression all you want, but until you have a bodily sensation about what these sorts of things are and what they do to people, then you really start to connect to people. And as an artist, for you to truly connect with the individual, you need to be an honest individual. You need to be an honest artist. But foundation is you need to be honest with yourself about what you want and who you are. And honesty. Being an artist is being honest. And I think being a truly authentic, grounded artist is being honest as the prerequisite for artists, right? You find that even when you're honest with people, you're outcasted, right? Because people like to linger in this sort of veil of deception or untold truths. But as soon as you're honest and you reveal the phoniness of the dynamic, then you're a problem. And that honesty severs you from the group. But that's perfect, because then that makes you an artist. Because you had the courage to be honest. And that courage to commentate. Because ultimately what you become is a commentator. You comment about the unpopular things, and weirdly people find you, resonate, because all along you tried to be understood, and when you stop trying and you start creating, then people got the message. So healing the world as an artist is being honest. Being honest. We get to dress the world with color. We get to address the world with color. We get to interact with the world of color. And we give sight of the world of color. Artists will heal the world. Artists will heal the world of its illness, because it will tell you it is sick. art will tell the people they are sick when they don't think they're sick. You see, I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna go get my hash browns that are being cooked up right now, but I'll be back. Oh yeah, I'm back. I got my 2 hash browns right here with sea salt and honey. This is my pre-workout right here, my pre-workout meal. So back to it. So wait, honesty, and then you come back, and then you're like, well, courage to be yourself, courage to commentate. But what are these 2 things? It's just being authentic. Authenticity, promotion of authenticity. You see, one of the things that drives the pursuit for greater and greater knowledge is to know God, right? When you perfect the forms of the third world, the material world, you're tapping into the divinity of reality, right? Like the perfectly sculpted man, the perfectly sculpted, monuments and statues, and then you go down back to like the most refined paintings in the world. There's a form of divinity and spiritual touch to them that is almost unexplainable. And these sorts of pursuits for these sensory sensations of spirituality and connection is what we want to promote in this world. This world has severed its connection to the spiritual path, and with art we're able to integrate ourselves back in, right? So it's almost like the art will usher in the new world of prosperity and the new world of vision, because we have lost the sight, and we want to make everything dull. And so we always come back to, when we create art, we always come back to our ancestors and the way they sculpted, right? Because they were in a pursuit for divinity and its sacred works of. And back. Anyway, so my phone ran out of storage, so I'm back. It's been about an hour, so I'm more rested. I have more energy. God bless. So back to the topic we're talking about. Why art will heal the world. Art will heal the world. So like we said, there's a pursuit for that divinity, that perfection, right? That I think is the highest form of pursuits, right? Like we all talk about like having purpose, but as a collective, as an individual, you could have your own independent purpose. I'm gonna do this and I want $1 million and blah 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 blah. But with art, there's a sort of cohesive march towards a spiritual awakening, a sort of synchronicity of thought that highlights the wrongs of the flesh, and these sort of the depictions of our brutality, right? And seeing how bizarre we can be. So with art, it's one of those where we commentate even through time, right? Like there's pieces of art that are timeless, but they talk about the same subjects of human affairs and endeavors. But I think ultimately, for me, if art is the pursuit for an awakening of the soul, or a awareness, how far does it go? How far does it go? I'll tell you what, I make art with the consideration of evolution of consciousness, and how far that goes is as far as I'm connected with. Yeah. So art will heal the world. Art will heal the world, because the artists are the outcasts. The artists are the class of individuals who are so far alienated from the world that they get to then play with ideas without feeling shame. It's kind of like a comedian, right? A comedian can say the funny things that everyone's thinking, but no one says. But it's funny because he broke the ice, he broke the silence. And artists do that with the depictions that they make. And that honest Anyway, I'm done yapping. I think I've said enough. But anything, if I'm gonna sum her up, it's basically honesty, authenticity, and in a world of deception and insecurity, those are the most valuable things that will usher us into a new age of wisdom and knowledge. And artists, comics, every type of artist, people who can dance, people who can move, people who can dance with their vocal cords, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? So the world of arts will usher in a new world of introspection and curiosity. So the art will save the world. Art will heal the world and will continue to heal the world. And hey, I'm happy to be part of it. You know, so thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for listening through the whole video. This is my first video, so there's gonna be a couple more. I'm still thinking of what ideas I should talk about because I'm an artist. I've lived as an artist. I've had a very interesting life, and I'd love to dive into a deeper. And there's been a lot of healing that's been done through my art, personal healing, and it's sort of transformative at an individual level, right? So that's what I want to get to and talk about, and I want to promote these sorts of things so people can connect with themselves and the world. So thank you for listening, and I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comments, what you guys can add, and I look forward to making more videos. And hey, one of many. Let's fucking do it. Let's do it. It's done. Peace.